Hi, I'm Brionne,
Hi, I'm Dea'onne.
and we're at the Guardian Building.
I'm Tiffany Brown. I'm a project manager here at Smith Group, and I also run an initiative called 400 Forward. So I'm a project manager here, which pretty much consists of coordinating all of the disciplines related to the projects that we build, from architecture to mechanical engineering to a relationship with the owner and things that the contractor needs. If I could define architecture in one word, I think I would choose resilient, because that's something that I relate to directly. I was born and raised here in Detroit, and against lots of odds against me, I still found my way to architecture. And Detroit and architecture are two things that made me who I am, and they relate directly to each other because Detroit is also resilient, and just has lots of beautiful historic architecture. And as we go through this resurgence and this transition that the city is going through right now, I became involved with architecture. Growing up, I was always interested in art, and that's all aspects of art: creative writing, drawing, woodshop, and I was really never exposed to architecture as a kid. Someone from my college came to my school in the 12th grade to talk about architecture, and from there I became more interested in the built environment. So in the College of Architecture, there's a lot of drawing and some sculpture and lots of art history and theory related things. There's also lots of math, lots of physics, calculus, things like that, lots of science. So some of the projects that I'm working on here at Smith Group is the City County Building, also known as the City Hall of Detroit, the Coleman Young Building right outside of our front door. We are waterproofing and improving the Larned entrance at that location. Other projects that I'm working on with 400 Forward include some partnerships that we have formed with Ford Mobility, where we're working in the Corktown area to find out what the residents need in terms of transportation as they move in to the Michigan Central train station over there. And we're also going to be working with the Detroit Land Bank on some residences near the 6 Mile Illinois area. So that's a program that I'm doing outside of Smith Group. I find architecture interesting to me because I've always loved to draw, so we spend a lot of time drawing. I've grown to become more interested in the built environment, how spaces affect us, how we live, how we learn. And so if I get to draw, those experiences, and then watch them and take under construction to take physical form, like that's the rewarding part of architecture for me, is the construction end of things. I would have probably gone to an HBCU. If I could go back in time, I probably would have chosen to go to an HBCU to study architecture, because it's just a different experience when you're around people who look like you and you're studying something like that. I think that my growth would have been different. To study architecture is a very rigorous environment, and to go into a field like that from Detroit public schools and not necessarily feeling like you're prepared, I think having the proper support system from your peers and instructors who look like you, who can help you learn more about architects who look like you also, I think I would have benefited from that much sooner than I did had I gone to an HBCU. Worked on at the firm where I grew up. It's called Hamilton Anderson. Hamilton Anderson was the architect for DSA, and even though I first came in as a student in the admin department, when I made the transition to work in architecture, DSA was one of the first things I was able to work on. So it's a really cool school. The principal at the time was great, and the school has a great relationship with the firm. So DSA's got state-of-the-art recording studios, and it was one of the first Detroit public schools where those types of things were incorporated. So this is the old space of where our lobby used to be. It's under construction right now, but as I read it and I wanted to learn more about what Smith Group thought about the need for diversity and inclusion in our profession, and it just really resonated with me as I read through it. And it says, excellence is best achieved through collaboration of diverse perspectives. Passionate creativity improves the quality of life. The only way to serve our clients and one another is with integrity. We are responsible to the future generations for the environments that we create. We have an obligation to contribute to our communities. So it really is a profound quote to me because it pretty much embodies, just about all of the things that I do public speaking about, things that mean a lot to me and how we can, as designers, be servants of our communities and be servants of the generations coming behind us who will use those spaces, who will eventually become architects. So I'm glad that we're going to figure out a way to keep this in place as we're under construction on the 17th floor. But I hope that speaks to you as profoundly as it does to me, and I hope it becomes as meaningful to you as a future designer as it does to me. Are trying your hardest and to never be discouraged, because I did experience at sometimes as a kid being referred to as disadvantaged youth. So we do have lots of people who kind of come in to try to help, and when using that term, I remember feeling like people thought I was not capable of achieving my dreams, or people thought that because of where I lived or what I looked like, that I wouldn't, get too far in life. So sometimes that sticks with students, and I would just encourage them to remember that even when you feel like it, can't be done, just keep telling yourself that it can. That was the way that I got through college. I told myself that it had to be done. It was very hard to end up in an environment like studying architecture, and not even having been on a college campus before. So Detroit Public School students, I would just say, do everything that you can to become the pride of your community. That's what. Describe architecture in one word. Y'all come with these hard questions. These are questions I haven't had to answer before.
That was cute. That was a good answer.
I feel like that was all over the place.